Hey everyone! I bet I can guess what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh my gosh, Julian, nobody wants your tarot readings for characters. Nobody's watching them, nobody wants them. Well, you're wrong. Some people want me to do a reading for their characters, and that's what we're doing today. So even if these people are the only people who watch this video, I don't care, because that's what we're doing today. So I just did a big reshuffle of my deck. And I just also built a fence, like I was building a pasture today. Because I am a full service girl. I can read tarot, I can build pastures. Get you a girl who can do both. So today we are doing 2 readings in one video because my readings do tend to be short. And I have actually a few people who are interested. Again, if you are interested in having a reading for one of your characters, the best way to do that is by contacting me on one of my social medias, where I will message you a short little questionnaire to help me get to know your character just enough where I feel like I can do a reading for them. The 2 characters I'm reading come from people who contacted me on Twitter. We're just going to go in alphabetical order. Our first person to ask is Afra Ash. I think that's how you say their name. And their character goes by Beatrix Blackwood. She has a much longer name that I am not going to attempt to pronounce. So we get to know a little bit about Beatrix without revealing too much to you because spoilers. She is 14 years old at the beginning of the story and 24 by the end. It is a story of her coming of age and her building up of her powers, so we're probably going to be seeing a lot with these cards of her development, or at least that's what I'm hoping for. Also finding herself and possibly finding family, so she's got a lot going on in her story. The genre of story that Beatrix lives in is a dark fantasy. You know we love those around here. And Beatrix is a little bit of an anti-hero, so that's going to be fun to deal with. The book starring Beatrix will be self-published, so it will be available eventually for all of us to read. That's exciting. But I think that's all the information that we're given, so let's get down to her reading. Alright, you guys, we're ready. We're going to do my usual thing, a simple 3-card reading. Past, present, future, or alternately, if it turns out that maybe they're just more like parts of her personality, parts of her character overall, we'll see it. We'll find out. Will we get a full story character arc, or will we just find out more about her? We do have 2, these cards spoil you a little bit, this particular deck. We have 2 reversed cards we know coming up, which I think for an anti-hero, as we have learned that Beatrix is, probably pretty good. So let's get started here. Our past, the Empress. Oh my goodness, that is a powerful, powerful start. Obviously very commanding, obviously commanding in the feminine. So I don't know if this means someone in her past, a feminine commanding figure, either a mother or a ruler or someone very dominant, alternately a very dominant part of her own personality. But let's find out more about the Empress. One of the big things about the Empress is that she is all about nature. So it'd be interesting to know in this dark fantasy world what role nature can play. Whether it's more of a dark, unknowable thing, like a mysterious forest, or whether it is good and helpful and healing. But this is a powerful feminine energy. This is goddess energy. That's another thing. It could be a goddess. We could be dealing with a goddess. And in this world that was described, I think it could potentially be a goddess that we're dealing with that is having some effect on our main character's early life. All right, let's go with our next card, or the middle of her life. Nigel is can you see him? He's right on my lap. There's his ear. He's coming to help read. You can't do a tarot reading without a black cat, right? Alright, second card. We have the 5 of Swords reversed. I think if you remember from our tarot reading with Snape, which if you haven't watched it, you should go watch it. Not a lot of people have watched it, so go give it some love. Swords are especially about sharpness of mind, keenness of intellect, and because swords have 2 edges, a lot of their meanings come with 2 sides that you have to deal with. Now honestly, swords, this 5 of Swords in its upright position might have actually fit better with the character that we know of her versus the reversed position. Upright, it can stand for conflict, disagreement, competition, winning at any cost, and I think that might fit well with the character. Reversed, it can mean reconciliation, making amends, past resentment, and a little bit of redemption. So it might be interesting, perhaps that not that the character is specifically dealing with these things of the 5 reversed, but perhaps that it is something that she needs to learn to do or is failing to do. From what we know of the character as an anti-hero, possibly this 5 in the middle of her life is trying to tell her, stop being so aggressive. Take a moment, look at the people that you've hurt. This 5 isn't necessarily telling us what happens in the story, but might be telling us what her character needs to hear in the middle of the story, but she might not listen to it. Alright, let's go with our final one, our future. And it is another 5, the 5 of coins, also reversed. Coins are also pentacles in many decks. And of course, coins in general can stand for prosperity and wealth, kind of covering the material aspects of life and also magic a little bit. They are actually kind of a balance to swords. They're kind of the grounding in reality that the sharp-mindedness of swords is lacking sometimes. Okay, this is interesting. The reversed 5 of coins can mean a upswing in material gain with a spiritual drain. So perhaps things are looking a lot better in her life as far as wealth, as far as possessions, as far as, like, if she's been going through hardships throughout the story, maybe things have settled down, physical hardships, things are looking better for her, like, physically, but she's coming up on a spiritual deficit. And again, I think with her being an anti-hero and it seeming like maybe she's got villainy in her future, I could definitely see this where she may be putting aside her spiritual needs and the spiritual needs of others in favor of finally having some comfort, finally having some success in a worldly way. It can be a return of self-confidence, and it can be a return of luck after a series of bad luck, especially monetary luck. So there you go, guys. This is her reading. I think it does kind of make an arc, or at least potentially does. I think it does tell us a little bit about her. The strong feminine, I'm really interested to find out from the author if there is a goddess in the story that plays a big influence, especially on this character when she's younger, or a mother figure at least, but I'm very interested in the goddess angle because I'm getting a very strong feeling about that. The swords coming in with something that maybe she needs but probably ignores, judging by this reversed 5 of coins. So that is our reading for Aphra. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Let's get on to our second reading. Please, if you are watching this author, please tell me how well the cards did in the comments. I would love to hear it. I'm very curious. Is the camera angle going to be slightly different every time? Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, I've got my laptop over here. That's what I'm looking at. So we are looking at a character from someone whose Twitter handle, I think, is Lele Jujubee. I could be wrong. Our main character is Miranda. She is a woman, and she has blonde hair and blue eyes, and she likes fishing and hiking. And she's an introvert. I don't really like fishing, but otherwise. She's 37, a little bit older than me, but actually not that much. I'm so old. It is set in the future, but she does kind of have a rather contemporary seeming job. She's answering emails, she's working for some sort of corporate business. She's basically in customer service in a phone bank, and I feel that. This is apparently a bleak story, but it does have friendship in it, so that's good. At least we get some friendship. So, we're going to grab the cards, and we are going to find out what they think about Miranda. I might call the genre of this story sci-fi, but you might also kind of call it speculative fiction, kind of by what I'm getting from the little tidbits I've given. Alright, here we have our cards. We do have one reversed. I thought maybe they were all going to be upright, but no, one is reversed. Try to get them in the shot a little bit here. Little known fact, I spend like 99% of the time in these videos just trying to get the camera to like look where I want it to. It's good times. Alright, let's see what we got. The Five of Cups reversed. We're getting a lot of fives in this reading. That's interesting. Is it me or is it the characters? I don't know. I haven't really gotten many cups in many of my readings, actually. Cups are often associated with love, feelings, relationships, and connections, which does fit pretty well with our character who has that best friend that we were talking about and friendship in her story. Okay, this is a pretty good card for her beginning, especially knowing what we do. She's working in that phone bank. She's really not feeling life. She's probably feeling pretty down. And the reversed Five of Cups is all about personal setbacks. It can also be about moving on, a need to move on, and if she's feeling really stuck, I think this card completely speaks to that. It can mean that you've recently suffered a personal disappointment. I don't know what that might be for her, but that might be there as well. And it also comes down to a need to ask for help to get unstuck. You might be not able to get yourself unstuck yourself, so you might need to ask for help. And again, I think that fits pretty well with us knowing that she is going to have a close friend be a big part of her life, but maybe she isn't there yet at the beginning of the book. She might just be stuck right here, and she's going to need someone to help get her out. Let's go on to our present card, or the middle of the book. The Wheel of Fortune. Ooh. Okay, this is a really good one for the middle of her story. This is really turning out like a pretty solid arc right here. The Wheel of Fortune is all about a turning point, a need for change, making the most of something. But really, I think the turning point, the decision making, I think is the biggest one that we're hitting on with this. The Wheel of Fortune is like where, you know, whatever it turns, you're going to have to make a decision. And our main character is probably hitting in the middle of the story the need for a real decision. And her life is never going to be the same because of the choices that she makes. And let's look at her future. The Five of Staves, another five. I swear, you guys, I just shuffled these cards. I don't know what's up with all the fives. Staves is also wands, which can mean magic, of course. Okay, there's a lot going on here with this upright five, and it's kind of like concerning for her character a little bit. Like it feels like maybe the story doesn't end happily with her, or maybe there's going to be a sequel. It involves conflicts and disagreements and tension. So possibly there could be a falling out with this best friend or other friends or people that she thought that she could rely on previously, sort of near the end of the book, possibly leaving us. I'm feeling a cliffhanger. I don't know. Maybe this is a standalone, but I'm feeling like it's going to lead to something else. The author can let me know. But this can also mean diversity and knowing a little bit more about the story. I think that really speaks to the story as well. Learning to embrace diversity. This can stand for an internal conflict and not knowing where you stand on certain issues, which again, I think for this character is going to be a big deal. And it can mean not being sure whether to stay with or leave a relationship. Again, I'm worried about that best friend. I'm worried that there's some conflict. That's why I'm feeling the cliffhanger feelings is this card. So, what do you think? Author, what do you think? Do these fit your character's arc pretty well? Does this speak to a direction that you're going or a direction that you might consider? Or is this like nothing like what you were looking at all? What do we think, guys? What do we think of this reading? I hope that the author found it cool. I found it cool. I really think that there's a lot there, and I'm really feeling that sequel potential. Like I mentioned before, if you are interested in a reading for your own character, please contact me on one of my social media. That's the best way to do it versus putting a comment here on this video. If you like the idea of tarot for fictional characters, please let me know. Don't forget to like this video. I want to do at least one more for a popular character to see if I can maybe drum up some interest. But I'm happy to do these for people who just want some insight in their own characters. I think it can really maybe jog something loose for authors, plus it gives me a chance to practice my tarot reading. If you want a more complex reading or you just want to check out what's happening over there, I have a Patreon. There are various tiers. For as little as $1 a month, you can see exclusive content not seen here on the regular channel, but at a higher tier, you can boss me around, which might get me to do a more complex reading for a character of your choice. If you liked what you saw here, I have some other readings already here on this channel, so go check them out. Or I have a lot of other bookish and writerly content here. They're all arranged in nice playlists for you for ease of binging. And if you must have brand new content, and more Nigel. Say hi, Nigel. Hello. Then I post new videos on Mondays and Fridays. All the links to my social media are in the doobly-doo for ease of your clicking. And Nigel and I will see you again next time with whatever it is we happen to be doing next time. Bye! What's that? You say you want to hear about patrons? Well, have I got some patrons for you. They are Adrienne, Lennox, Amanda, Irene, Jenny, Jesper, Lisa, Ryakio, Sabby Panda, Savvy, Scribbling Cat, and Zaire. Isn't that the best bunch of patrons you have ever heard of in your whole life? Don't you disrespect me, little man. Don't you derogate or deride. You're in my world now, not your world. And I got friends on the other side. I can read your future, I can change it around some too. I look deep into your heart and soul and make your wildest dreams come true.